We are at a different angle today because I've been having to film other videos besides just the podcast. My tripod has been adjusted to accommodate for that. I didn't feel like adjusting it back to normal podcast settings. So, hello, good morning. My name is Lee. Welcome back to the corner. We are here today on a lovely snowy Tuesday. It is January 31st, I believe. This is our first proper, like, fluffy, sticking snow of the season, and I can't believe it's happening so late in the winter. It has been a particularly mild winter here in Pittsburgh, PA, but we finally got a proper snow, so that's nice. I have some things to show you today. I have a couple of finished objects, and I have several new cast-ons, and one of the finished objects overlaps as a new cast-on. I started and finished something since I saw you last. I'm in my PJs today because I could not be bothered to put on real clothes. I have a meeting this afternoon with a group of people, and I will get dressed then. Until then, I'm enjoying my pajama time. All right. Oh, I didn't tell you what this is. This is a video podcast where I talk about all of my crafting stuff. It is primarily knitting, some crochet, some cross stitch, and some sewing every once in a while. I do have one crochet project to talk about today, and the rest is knitting. Let's get started. Let's talk about knitting. I have two finished objects today. We'll talk about the big one first, just because it is exciting and you've seen it before. But I have finished my Advent sweater. It is a turtleneck, and it smells good. It has been washed, blocked, everything. It is completely finished, and I'm so glad it is finally done. This is the second sweater I finished this year now. Isn't that exciting? And January's not even over yet. Spring's basically over, but you know. So this is my Advent sweater. I started this on December 1st because I wanted to knit through Advent this past Christmas season. I wanted to, instead of getting a new Advent, I wanted to knit through a past Advent that I had opened and had just lying around. So I decided to knit a sweater with my 12-day Big Little Yarn Co. Yokai Advent from 2021. And it was an Advent that came with 12 mini skeins and one main skein, which was 100 grams. And I rearranged the colors to make this like rainbow fade. And I made the piece of silver, which is a pattern by Vera Valimaki. And I have mixed feelings about it. I love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. I got the non-superwash Peruvian Highland wool base. So it is lovely and wonderful. But I made a size smaller than I normally would have because I knew I didn't have enough yarn to make the appropriate size for me. But I had thought that it would be a more cropped sweater and therefore would still look cute, even if it was only like 0 to 1 inches of positive ease. Unfortunately, this sweater came out way longer than I originally thought it would. And it's not long enough to like cover my butt, but it's not cropped either. It is a very like standard length, but at, you know, not a whole lot of ease. It's got maybe 1 or 2 inches of positive ease. It fits, I don't know, like just right and not in a good way, you know? So I'm not sure. I'm sitting on this for a little while. I did 3/4 length sleeves, which are absolutely perfect. I used the main color for the collar, the sleeve cuffs, and the split hem that I did. I'm gonna try wearing it out with like actual pants, like with jeans, and see how I feel about it, because I might change my mind when I wear it with actual clothes. Or, you know, tucked in. Like it might be fine tucked in. So besides the length, everything about it is perfectly perfect. And I love how these colors ended up looking. They're so much fun. This is the most fun sweater I own now, for sure. And I really did like cut it close with the math with this. For my mini skeins, I had a ton of the main color left. I have enough actually probably to make a pair of socks, especially if I use a contrast color. I didn't weigh the skein that I had, how much yarn I had left, but I should have done that. But I did only have like scraps left of the 12 minis. I had just like little bits. So I think I had more left over of like this color because I didn't use as much of this color or this color, the second and third colors, as I did the others. I think I had a little bit more left of those, and I put those in my bag with my Cozy Memories scraps, but everything else was just little nubbits, not much at all. Yeah, that's done. I guess that's all I really want to say about it. It smells so good. It is so soft. This yarn is incredible. So good. Look at that. Oh, I love it. And that's my first finished object. Yay! Second sweater of the year. Oh, I've been needing my coffee this morning. I've been having a rough few weeks. This year so far, rough. Maybe I'll finally feel like updating you on a little bit at the end of this episode because I have been keeping a lot of things really close to my chest. All right, second FO. This one was a really quick one. I was definitely influenced by Maria. I was influenced by Maria of Knitting in the Dark. I'm in her Discord chat and we were talking back and forth about this. She has knit several of this pattern, and this is the Knitting Badge Neckerchief. I'm in her Discord and we were talking about this when I cast it on. I wanted to share that she had influenced me, and several of us cast one of these on actually in the Discord. But she's knit several of these. They go really quickly. It is a free pattern. I cannot remember, by Nicholas something. I can't remember his last name, but the link, the pattern page is on my Ravelry, so you can find a link to it there. And I knit mine out of Shibui Knits Pebble. This is a merino cashmere silk blend, and I had an entire 25 gram skein of this left over from my moonset tee that I knit last summer, fall time. And so I was like, oh, well, I have a whole skein of that left. I'll make one of these. This took 8 grams. This weighs 8 grams. It weighs absolutely nothing. So I did not use very much of that skein. I probably had enough scrap of it somewhere that I could have made one. But it's so light. It's so light. Weighs absolutely nothing. It is so soft. And this has been washed and blocked pretty aggressively. I pulled it pretty aggressively widthwise, not lengthwise, because that is what Nicholas said that he recommends. And I have not actually tried it on yet, but I'm not a huge, like, I'm really hit or miss with accessories. I'm a little too low maintenance for like accessories, but I figured why not? Oh, this would be so perfect with a little clippy clip. But I did think maybe that I could use it as a head thing, like a bandana almost. So that was kind of my idea. My hair is in the way. It is not quite long enough for me to tie twice. I can get one. Yeah, it's not quite long enough for that. But for a standard neckerchief type thing, it does fit. So yeah, that was a long drawn out way of saying that I finished this. I started and finished this since I saw you last. It's so soft. It's very cute. I am going to hopefully be able to wear it. Who am I? Yeah, I have some life update stuff that I'll tell you about at the end of the episode. I've been going through it. But yeah, wearing accessories out might be a little bit more relevant to me here very soon. So let's continue. Let's talk about whips. The first whip I'm gonna show you is in my egg bag. I don't know where this bag came from, but in here I have my Vintage 83 crop. This is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. It is just a cropped textured t-shirt with brioche stripes around the yoke. And I don't remember if I had finished the sleeve last time I talked to you, but I did finish one sleeve here. I didn't finish the second one. And I have been knitting on the body. I only pulled this out for one evening, so this is one evening's worth of knitting. And it wasn't the only thing I worked on that evening either. But I got from that stitch marker up. It's about an inch. Not a whole lot. But I did want to mention this because it is being worked on. I have pulled it out. So this is my Vintage 83. It is knit out of Coast to Coast Yarn Co. The color Button, which is one of her pretty standard tonals. It's this beautiful like pale taupey color, mushroom color. And then the brioche contrast colors are Farmer's Daughter Fibers, Oh Dang, her Surrey base, in the color Dirty Little Dandelion, Union Street State of Mind, and Salmonberry. And that's that. And this is how the texture of the body looks. It's a slip stitch texture, so it's super stretchy, super spongy. So blocking this out will be very interesting. And yeah, that's it. It's not a whole lot to talk about with this. I pulled it out and I worked on it a bit, so I wanted to bring that up. Since I finished my Advent sweater, I feel like I'm kind of on a roll with pulling out garments and finishing them. Although I did cast on a new one. We'll talk about that in a minute. First, I will talk about my only other whip that you've seen before. This is in my Barbie bag from Junk Yarn. Very cute. And this is my Ube shawl, which is a crochet shawl. The pattern is a free pattern, and it is a fingering weight, half granny square shawl. And I have gotten some work done on this. I moved the marker last time I showed you, and this is the marker. So I have crocheted this much since I saw you last. And you know, it's a shawl, it's a triangular shawl, so it gets bigger every time. Every row is an increase row. And I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. And yeah, it is getting much bigger, much quicker now. We are now this large. We're too wide for the camera. And I feel like we're getting pretty close, actually, to finishing this. I have this much yarn left. If you want to know what yarn I'm using, it's in the project page, but I'm not really going to talk about it because I don't purchase from this yarn dyer anymore. But it's a deep stash, very, very, very beautiful color. And that's how much I have left. And I decided I had 2 skeins of this. When I started this, I was just going to crochet until I was out of yarn. So that's how big it will be. However big it is when I'm finished with this, very, very exciting. Oh my gosh. Pulling out stitches. Tried to give myself enough slack and it still wasn't enough. So that's that. That's my Ube shawl. I'm really enjoying it. It's gonna be so nice when it's washed and blocked. The other 2 projects I have to show you are new cast-ons. I have been working a little bit on my shop sample of my bond weave socks, but it's sitting by the computer. That is my like computer knitting. I have gotten a little bit farther than last time you saw, but I'll probably won't show it because I'm working on it so slowly. I probably won't show it again until after it's done. So I have worked on that one while I'm at the computer, but it only gets worked on at the computer. So there is also that. But I also started a new pair of socks. These are in my unicorn bag from LeighKnits, from Haley. And I love this bag. But in here, I had decided, I've told you, I've been going through it these past few weeks. I needed something to bring me a little bit of joy. And I decided that I was going to cast on a new pair of socks in a color that brought me some joy. So I started a pair of socks in the most gorgeous sock set from, oh, I don't have it on me, Murray and Company. And the sock set is called Group Hug. And this is the color. Oh my God, look at that pink. I mentioned this in the podcast at one point, I believe, or in my yarn stash, the sock episode. This was one of the pink sets that I had pulled out and was thinking about casting on. And I finished one whole sock, but I decided that I was going to try a new heel for this sock. You can see here that I did not do my normal Fish Lips Kiss heel. I decided to try the shortbread heel, which is a heel. It's part of a pattern called the Simple Shortbread Socks by Larkspur Knits. And this is what they look like. It's basically her vanilla pattern, her vanilla sock pattern that she developed for herself, but she developed a new heel for it, and it's called the shortbread heel. It is an afterthought heel, but it is meant to kind of mimic the look of a heel flap. So this is what it looks like from the side. And can I tell you that I am a big fan of this heel? Big fan. I don't have it memorized or anything yet. I've only done the one. But not only is the heel really cute, like it looks really nice, and it's really simple to do, way simpler than a heel flap and gusset, but she also gives like really incredible tips in her pattern on how to like make your heel, your afterthought heel look tidy. And it's kind of changed my life. Like, look how tidy the corners of this look. I have not woven the ends in yet. I'm blown away. I was never a big fan of an afterthought heel purely because I could never make them look tidy. No matter how many videos and tips I watched, nothing I did looked tidy enough for my taste. This did it. It wasn't even like the heel specifically, like her tips are valid for any afterthought heel. It just blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. So I finished one sock with a new heel that was a lot of fun, doing something new. And I started the second sock. It's not gonna focus for me. I started the second sock. I am about 9 rounds away from where the heel will be. 9 rounds away from finishing the leg. I have this really cute Pop-Tart Progress Keeper on here. I think it's from Sucre Miniatures. I'm not 100% positive, but I think it is. Yeah, that's that. New cast on socks. I wanted bright color. I wanted joyful pink socks. I tried to do a satisfying zip and it didn't work. Oh boy, there is only one project left, and it is in my pin bag. I also don't know where this bag came from. It came from some mystery Etsy shop a long time ago. My husband bought it for me, and I don't know where it came from. But in here is a new sweater cast on. I have a front page. This is, oh, the day I'm filming this is Tuesday, which is the day that my second part 2 of my yarn stash tour comes out, which includes my sweater quantities and my plans for my sweater quantities. This is one of those. Since filming that, I have cast this on, and this is the Rock Pool sweater by Lily Kate France. If you've seen that, you will know what I planned to do with this. And I've started this sweater. This is one of my oldest sweater quantities sitting in stash, and it is the Explorer Knits and Fibers. This is the label from my yarn. It is one of her old labels. It is the Rockies DK base, which is a 100% superwash merino, and I am using 3 colors. I'm using the colors Fresca, Balsamico, and Azzurro. But I have started the sweater. Now this looks a little bit different from the sketch plan that I had posted in that last video, because the construction of the sweater has lots of short rows establishing the front, the back, the shoulders, all of that kind of stuff. it's not just like a circular yoke. So my original plan was to have balsamico be just a ring around the neck, but because of the short rows, I ended up having to bring them down the shoulders, or bring the color down the shoulders. And it will show more in the front than the back because I didn't know exactly how it was gonna knit up. So it'll show more than in the front than the back, but I think that will be fine. I will be picking up the collar and doing that in the color Fresca, which is this color. This is the third color. So cool. I love these colors together. And then this sweater has a open like eyelet lace sleeve. I will be doing those in the balsamico color. Oh, and you can't really see it, but on the back here, I finished the back to the sleeve hole where it's supposed to join, and I switched back to balsamico because I will be doing the entire body of the sweater in balsamico. So this blue, the Azzurro, will only be on top of my bust. It will start, or it will stop before my bust is at its largest. And then I will be adding like contrast stripes of the Azzurra and the Fresca around the sweater. So it'll be mostly balsamico, and it is DK weight yarn on size 8 needles, US 8 needles, which is how many millimeters? 5 millimeters. So it's a really open gauge. It's a very nice soft fabric. I hope it's not see-through. It doesn't look like it will be when I held it up to the camera there, but I have plenty of yarn for this sweater, so I'm not sizing down or anything. I will be hopefully knitting a sweater that fits just right. And I'm working on the front just down to where I join at the armpit, and then I get to work in the round forever for the rest of the sweater. So that'll be great. I'm so excited to have this on the needles. This project has been a plan of mine for so long. It feels so good to actually be knitting up some of these projects. Because while I feel like I'm casting on a bunch of things kind of willy-nilly, it also doesn't feel that way because I have been planning these things for so long that it's a relief to finally get them on the needles. So that is that. I have one acquisition. One acquisition to show you. This is not a purchase acquisition. I went to one of my friend's houses, and she is an incredible host and always gives us a little like gift to leave with. And she had made pouches. These are Notions pouches. You can attach it to anything. It's got a little snap closure. A little pouch. And she filled it full of goodies. My goodies, oh, there's a couple of extras in here because I've actually been using it. The goodies that came in mine were all green. She gave me some of these removable stitch markers. She gave me a needle threader. She gave me a needle threader. She gave me a green tapestry needle and a green gummy bear progress keeper. Oh, look how cute. And then also, like, one of the most exciting things is she gave me this little green pair of snips. They're tiny little snips. They're so cute, and I've been using them a ton. I love this little pouch. Now, I already have a Notions pouch, and it is a full service Notions pouch, and it goes around with me wherever my projects are. But I've also found that having a second Notions pouch has been great. I don't know, I have a spare, so if I forget one in another room, I have another one. So it's, I don't know, I love it. Thank you, Rebecca. It's great. That's it for knitting content. I've been trying to decide when I was going to be ready to talk to you guys about like the personal stuff that's been going on in my life, but I guess I probably just should because it's affecting me. So about just over a week ago, my papa, my mom's dad, passed away. But it's never easy having a grandparent pass, so I'm having trouble breathing now because I'm talking about like life stuff. We'll see if I leave this in the video. I may cut it out. Also, right before Christmas, we got news that my dad is sick. Hopefully everything goes well. It's supposed to be very well treatable, but it's been a process and it hasn't been fun. It's been very stressful for everyone, especially my dad, and that's just hard to watch, you know. That's actually been a big stressor in my life these past few weeks. And then even more things to stress about. If you've been here for any length of time, you will know that my day job is I'm a full-time illustrator, but that has been also causing me a lot of stress lately. I have just revived my art channel. So if you would like to see any of my art content or stuff about my illustration business, you can go check that channel out. I post, so far I've only posted one vlog, but I will be filming today also. So by the time this goes up, I might have another video up or coming up really soon. I will update about all of my drama over there. So I won't get into that here, but there has also been some stress with my like art business as well. And it may just be all of the like personal stuff piling up and that's affecting my art business, but it's just not great. I am just having a bad time. I've been sleeping a lot. I have been doing a lot of self-care knitting. It's just the way things are right now. Hopefully things take a turn here very soon. Yeah, that's as far into that as I will go. I just don't really feel like going too far into it because of reasons. Sorry that got kind of dark at the end. I don't want to bring the sad stuff into the podcast, but I also don't want to like hide all of my secret life stuff from you because we're here together, and I also don't like people to fuss over me, so I usually don't like saying things that I'm struggling with because I don't want anyone to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. It just makes me really uncomfy. So feel free to not say anything in the comments below. I just wanted you to kind of know what was going on and why I've been really stressed and why I may have been seeming a little bit manic in my episodes. Also, why I've been casting on so many things so recklessly. I've been needing the extra serotonin, so I've been casting stuff on. I would like to finish something. I've been really enjoying my socks, so I think I might ride this wave until I have a pair of socks or two finished, and then I will cast on some more stuff. If you've watched the stash video that went up today, you will know that I have quite a few sweater quantities to work through, but I managed over here to fit, let's see, there you see that green sweater quantity over there? I managed to fit that on the shelf. It previously wasn't on the shelf. I've officially gotten all of my sweater quantities to fit on the shelf. So that's exciting. Love that for me. Now I have all of my sweater quantities in one place so I can see them and I can be like, oh, what do I want to cast on? This new stuff. But I also still have that cardigan that I haven't touched in a really long time and my twigs that I haven't touched in a really long time. So I kind of need to work on those as well. I should really pull one of those out. I'm rambling. I'm just going off now. Let's call it a day here. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed seeing a bunch of new cast on stuff today. I love cast on content. That's great. But also go watch my stash tour videos if you're interested in just seeing what yarn I have. They're not for everyone, I would assume. Not everyone is super interested in just seeing what yarn I have, but some of you may be. The sock yarn episode is literally just me pulling out every single skein of sock yarn I have and showing it to you. So I personally love that kind of content, which is why I made it. But if you're interested in that, you should check it out. The other episode though, episode 2, has actual plans for like my sweater quantities and stuff. So that's a lot of fun. Check that out if you haven't already. And thanks for joining me today here in the stress corner. This isn't supposed to be the stress corner. This is supposed to be the we're having a good time sitting and talking about knitting corner. So thanks for joining me in the corner today, and I will see you all next time.